Good morning. It is Wednesday, the 30th of December, 2020. Pastor Ron Jetter, Immanuel Lutheran Church, Grandview, Washington, at least for another few weeks, it looks like. Happy birthday, by the way, to my brother Randy Jetter. Today he is 69. As I say, my days may be numbered, and in fact, it pretty much looks like they are. One of the phrases I really think is overused is breaking news. The word news is defined as information you are receiving for the first time, information that is currently developing. Therefore, all news is breaking, isn't it? So isn't the word breaking news redundant? And old news, well, that's a cliche, but I mean, there's really no such thing as old news. There's information that has already been shared. But we have, I dare say, breaking news. Our congregation voted unanimously to extend a call to the next pastor, who will tentatively begin, I'm guessing, around the beginning of February. That's, again, my best guess. It was a lengthy voting process. I mean, you think that the voting in the U.S. has been complicated? Well, this was too. We had to have it witnessed by a representative from the bishop's office on the 20th of December. There were people in person, there were people on Zoom, and we had to make sure we took a record of who was in attendance and then match those names with ballots turned in. Ballots turned in by people not in attendance were not counted. But the ballots themselves had to then be put in an envelope clearly marked by who it was from. The envelopes had to be opened, the ballots separated in order to keep them anonymous so that the names are never matched with the ballot. Then again, when it's a unanimous vote, it's pretty obvious how every one of us voted. But it was 8 days from the vote to the counting of the vote to allow for the mail to get everything there in time. I was there both of those days, as was the representative from the bishop's office, and we thank her for that service. The phone call was made to the candidate, to the president of our congregation, to the bishop's office. Things are in motion. Something new is going to come about. So it isn't just 2021 we have to look forward to. I look forward to retiring all over again, and yet I will miss this. I miss the daily being able to communicate. And I am sure there will be ways in which the new pastor will choose to do that. And it'll be up to those who are listening to these, who are watching these, to say to the new pastor, this is kind of one of the ways in which I would like to hear from you. And that pastor and you get to work out that. This is my thing. I started it back in April, thinking it would be a good idea. If I can't go out and visit people as much, at least you need some encouragement. And here it is, the 30th of December. Can you believe it? Wow. And being Christmas week, I'm still trying out new stuff. I got a new V-neck sweater, a big kind of a baggy pullover sweater. It's very comfortable. And one of the things I now need to do is figure out what I'm going to leave behind, what I'm going to give to the hospice benefit shop in Prosser, Hobbs. And that's something I'm not as good at as going through old clothes and putting them either in the rag pile or, if they're in good condition, the giveaway pile. Appliances, sure, they wear out. We get rid of the old one and put in the new one. Dishes, well, we may take some to the camper and then we may give some away. Jewelry. Now, I don't get a lot of jewelry because I don't really wear jewelry, but my wife does. I give her jewelry. She doesn't get rid of jewelry. She simply adds it to the collection. That brings us to the story of the Israelites, who contributed their gold and silver jewelry to fashion a golden calf. And we heard how God had to stop that in its tracks. We are now at 33 chapter of the book of Exodus. The Lord said to Moses, "Go, leave this place, you and the people whom you have brought up out of the land of Egypt, and go to the land which I swore to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, saying, to your descendants I will give it. I will send an angel before you, and I will drive out the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Go up to a land flowing with milk and honey. But I will not go up among you, or I would consume you on the way, for you are a stiff-necked people. When the people heard these harsh words, they mourned, and no one put on ornaments. For the Lord had said to Moses, say to the Israelites, you are a stiff-necked people. If for a single moment I should go up among you, I would consume you. So now take off your ornaments, and I will decide what to do with you. Therefore the Israelites stripped themselves of their ornaments from Mount Horeb onward. So the jewelry that was left over, that which wasn't gold or silver, that which was not given over to the making of the golden calf, which apparently they still had plenty of it, onyx and rubies and so on, they left it. They packed it away for another day. Maybe they didn't give it away. They didn't have thrift stores then. Didn't leave it behind, but they certainly didn't ornament themselves. They were a people in mourning, and God was in mourning. There's nothing worse than a parent saying to a child, I will decide what to do with you. I'm going to go think long and hard about it, and you go and think long and hard too. I will do something. There will be consequences, more consequences. I'm not done with you yet, but I'm going to think about it. And now they're in that waiting period, so they're packing and waiting. What's God going to do next? And then they observe Moses. We hear a detail then about the tent, the tabernacle, where God's presence is. This is verse 7. Now Moses used to take the tent and pitch it outside the camp, far off from the camp. He called it the tent of meeting, and everyone who sought the Lord would go out to the tent of meeting, which was outside the camp. Whenever Moses went out to the tent, all the people would rise and stand, each of them at the entrance of their own tents, and watch Moses until he had gone into the tent. When Moses entered the tent, the pillar of cloud would descend and stand at the entrance of the tent, and the Lord would speak to Moses. When all the people saw the pillar of cloud standing at the entrance of the tent, then all the people would rise and bow down, all of them, at the entrance of their tent. Thus the Lord used to speak to Moses face to face, as one speaks to a friend. Then he would return from the camp. But his young assistant, Joshua, son of Nun, would not leave the tent. So now we find Joshua mentioned. Joshua, who is Moses' heir apparent, Joshua, who will figure prominently in the days after the death of Moses in the future. Joshua is able to go into the tent of meeting and speak with God as well. This pillar of cloud, we first heard about that during the Exodus event. When the Israelites fled Egypt, they were led by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, guiding them. So they already know this is one of the ways God appears to them. So it's a reminder that God is still very much among them, and a reminder that God is still pondering what will happen. Moses uses his opportunity to intercede for the people again as he is in the tent. Moses said to the Lord, see, you have said to me, bring up this people, but you have not let me know whom you will send with me. You have said, I know you by name, and you have also found favor in my sight. Now if I found favor in your sight, show me your ways, so that I may know you and find favor in your sight. Consider too that this nation is your people. He said, my presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. And Moses said to God, if your presence will not go, do not carry us up from here. For how shall it be known that I have found favor in your sight, I and your people, unless you go with us? In this way we shall be distinct, I and your people, from every people on the face of the earth. Sounds like just words, but these are very important words. If you are an Israelite, a Hebrew, a Jew, this is one of the statements that say to you, we are the chosen people. God created this people to be distinct from every other people on the face of the earth. Were they? Were they distinct enough? Moses then asks for a blessing. Excuse me. And God said, I'm going to create a cleft in the rock and I will put you in that cleft, and I will cover you with my hand, so that as my presence goes by, you are not consumed by it. And then I will remove my hand, and you can see my back. Verse 23, I will take away my hand, you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen. This is curious because a few verses before it said Moses and God talked as a friend, face to face, and now God is saying, you shall not see my face. We have these, again, woven together stories from different traditions. Part of it, the history, moving the novel portion of it along, the details, the facts, the plot, and then part of it, the ritual details, and then part of it, the glory of the Lord. And this is one of these stories about the tradition that wanted to emphasize the glory of the Lord, the otherness of God, inserted into this story. And they're all part of the same story, the same people, the same God, but different snapshots at what's going on here. God is otherly, and God wants the people to be otherly, different, distinct, chosen, and to behave that way.